Maplewood Estates was known for its quiet, picture-perfect streets, where lawns were trimmed, mailboxes matched, and neighbors waved politely as they passed. To the outside world, it looked like the ideal neighborhood. But inside, those who lived there knew another story. Underneath the manicured grass and pastel houses lurked a constant tension, the HOA and its endless rules. And this time, the battleground wasn't about parking or Halloween or lawns. It was about something far more personal. Pets. The Williams family had lived in Maplewood for 3 years. Sarah and her husband Mark adored their golden retriever, Max. He wasn't just a dog, he was family. Max greeted the children, Mia and Alex, at the bus stop every afternoon. He played fetch in the yard, snuggled on the couch, and barked happily when neighbors passed by. For the Williams family, Max wasn't a problem, he was joy. But one chilly morning, Sarah found a letter taped to her front door. The HOA emblem was stamped in the corner. Her heart sank as she read the words, "Notice of violation. Excessive noise. Your pet, Max, has been reported for frequent barking. Continued disturbance will result in fines of $100 per incident." Sarah shook her head in disbelief. Yes, Max barked sometimes, like any dog, but he was far from a nuisance. She had never once received a complaint from the neighbors. "Who could have reported this?" she muttered. Later that afternoon, she got her answer. While walking Max around the block, she passed Mrs. Turner, the HOA president. With her usual scowl and clipboard in hand, she remarked coldly, "Some people in this community don't appreciate constant barking. Pets should not disturb the peace." Sarah bit her tongue but couldn't stay quiet. "Max is part of our family. He barks when someone passes by. That's what dogs do. He's not a problem, Mrs. Turner. You're making him one." Mrs. Turner raised an eyebrow. "Rules exist for a reason. If you can't control him, perhaps Maplewood isn't the right community for your lifestyle." The words stung. Sarah walked away furious. That evening, she told Mark. He clenched his jaw. "They're not taking Max away from us. Let them try." Days later, another notice arrived. This time, the fine was real $100. The letter claimed multiple complaints had been filed. Sarah asked her neighbors, but nobody admitted to reporting anything. Some even expressed shock. "We never hear Max." Maria, her next-door neighbor, said, "He's quieter than half the kids on this street." The Williams family decided to fight back. They set up a small camera in their yard, recording day and night. The footage showed Max sleeping peacefully most of the day, only barking briefly when the mailman came or when Mia and Alex came home from school. Hardly excessive. Despite the evidence, the HOA escalated. A final warning arrived. If the disturbance continues, the HOA will pursue removal of the animal from the property. Sarah's hands shook as she read it aloud. "They can't do this," she whispered. "They can't take Max away." The children clung to their dog, terrified at the thought. Word spread quickly through the neighborhood. Some residents rallied behind the Williams family. "This is ridiculous," George, the elderly neighbor, declared. "I've lived next to noisy cars, lawnmowers, and leaf blowers, but now dogs are a problem? What's next, banning children?" Others, however, sided with the HOA. One neighbor grumbled, "Rules are rules. If the HOA says the dog barks too much, then maybe it does." The community became divided, a war over one golden retriever. At the next HOA meeting, the Williams family showed up with their video evidence, neighbors in tow. The room buzzed with tension as Sarah stood before the board. "You say Max barks excessively. Here is proof he does not. You claim there were multiple complaints. Yet none of my neighbors have admitted to filing one. Who is behind this? Who benefits from removing pets from this neighborhood?" Mrs. Turner's lips curled. "We enforce rules fairly. If there are complaints, they are taken seriously. It is not your place to question the process." But Mark interrupted, slamming the violation letter on the table. "This isn't about rules. This is about power. Our dog is not a nuisance. He is loved by this community. You want to strip families of their pets to enforce your idea of control. But you've gone too far." The crowd murmured in agreement. Maria spoke up. I've lived next door to the Williams family for years. Max has never disturbed us once. If the HOA can target them, it can target any of us. One by one, neighbors stood to support Sarah and Mark. Even George raised his cane, declaring, if you try to take that dog, you'll have to go through all of us. Overwhelmed by the backlash, the board retreated. They voted to rescind the fines and dropped the demand for removal. Mrs. Turner, furious but defeated, slammed her gavel. This matter is closed. Relief washed over Sarah as she hugged Max tightly. Tears filled her eyes as Mia whispered, we get to keep him, right, Mom? Sarah smiled. Yes, sweetheart. Max is staying right here. He's family. That night, as Max curled up on the couch with the kids, Sarah reflected on what had happened. The HOA had tried to break their spirit, to separate them from their beloved dog. But in the end, the community stood together, proving that sometimes rules are nothing compared to love and loyalty. In neighborhoods run by rules, it's easy to forget what makes a home truly special. It isn't the lawns or the fences or the mailboxes. It's the laughter of children, the warmth of family, and yes, even the bark of a dog. Because pets aren't just animals. They're family, and no HOA rule can change that.